for an employment staffing agency, Express Employment Professionals. I do a lot of volunteer work at my daughter's school, Curran Elementary. Plus, I volunteer with Church for the Nations, Oxnard Dream Center, the Battleground Inc., Hard Step Ministries, the Peace Rallies, and so I've got pretty huge networks. When I was at Ventura College in 2010 and 11, I was really heavy into the holistic health and wellness group. I was president of the club while I was there, and I was also part of MECHA at the time. So when it comes to being out there and getting things known, I'm that person.
Supervisor Zaragoza, I'm Armando Vasquez.
Don Montgomery.
Just briefly introduce yourself.
Okay. Don Montgomery. I'm the Ventura County Chairman of the Black American Political Association of California, and I'm also the President of the Community Advocacy Coalition.
Thank you.
I'm Debbie DeVries. I met almost everybody. We're here to support Oxnard and Halifax Coalition.
So, yes, if you would, please.
You know, I'm Supervisor John Zaragoza, and I've been, let me back up a little bit. I was a council member for Oxnard for about 12 years, Mayor Pro Tem for 4 years of the 12 years. And also I've been with the Board of Supervisors already going into my 7th year, and this is my 2nd term as supervisor. We only have 3 terms, and then we can't go any further than 3 terms by term limits. And I hope to run here again in June, my last term. And I represent the 5th District, which is Strickland, Nyland Acres, El Rio, almost all of Oxnard, half of the Naval Base, from Patterson to Victoria, and then Silver Strand, Hollywood, and Mandalay Bay, Seabury, and the Colony, and Oxnard Shores, all the way to McGrath Park. So, and also I'm a member of the advisory board for the mental health board. And of course, many other agencies too. We're here to talk about mental health.
Yes. John Zaragoza is the only politician, I'm not saying that because he's right next to me, he's the only politician that I can talk to, look him straight in the eye, and I understand what he's saying. And I know that he doesn't have, he may have, but then he hides it real well because I've never been able to see that, an agenda. Every politician that I talk to has glassed eyes, indifferent. John is one of these unique individuals that looks at you in the eye, and we're able to talk, and while we may not agree on everything, at least we agree that it's important to be able to communicate honestly. And he's always done that with the community. So
And we've worked together for many years, even as a council member.
For many years, absolutely. So I think now what we're going to do is we'll turn it over back to the supervisor after we make our presentation. Hold your questions because this is pretty pithy stuff. Compañera, the people that didn't introduce themselves, if you'd like to, but keep the comments real short, okay? No dossiers, please. Tony, introduce yourself, brother.
Oh, I'm Tony D., president of Oxnard Video Magazine.
Thank you. Compañera?
My name is Carla. I'm a member of Todo Poder al Pueblo.
Thank you.
Chantal Berthez,
Peace.
peace, but also I'm also in the subject, somebody who has, had a degree in psychology, practice psychology and art intensely. So.
Thank you. Matt?
I'm Frida Wiggins, and I'm from History and Fulfill Center.
Thank you. Okay, so now we'll move on to...
Sister in the back.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth Jones, registered nurse, eager participant.
And find a chair. There's room over here, Ruth. Oh, you got space here? Okay, so we've got a real good turnout. We've had this kind of turnout for 2 weeks. And it's really important that we keep this momentum going, guys, because we'll tie everything together. Jim, if you would, please.
Yes. We can pass these around. I'm going to be very brief because I know everybody can read.
Sign in, please.
The highlight of you want me to get sort of the state report?
Yes, please.
The highlight of my update is I had the wonderful pleasure of attending the Mental Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission meeting in Sacramento on March 26th. And again, this is on the paper. The main reason that I attended that was for the LULAC investigative report that was presented to the commission. That report focused on mental health in Ventura County relative to unmet needs of Latinos, Latinas, but it also highlighted needs of other racial ethnic populations, including African American, Asian Pacific Islander, Native American, LGBTQ, as well as formerly incarcerated and other populations. Elaine, I must say, Elaine Crandall, the new director of Ventura County Behavioral Health, she did an outstanding job. I mean, I was so proud to know her, and her main theme was to engage the community and to work with LULAC, as well as other racial and ethnic organizations to bring about some change within behavioral health. So Dave Rodriguez, the state director of LULAC, also responded and basically stood on the research of the report and committed to working with Ventura County, and particularly Elaine. He stated that Elaine Crandall brings new leadership, new vision, and a commitment to working with the community. So LULAC is going to continue to work with Elaine. I followed up and spoke to the commission regarding our main points in our proposal, which is written on this update. And I just want to take us back to, we can all see what the Multicultural Community Mental Health Coalition, we're here to advocate for health and mental health equity, to increase access, improve the quality of services, build community capacity. We're looking at community-defined practices, and with a focus on prevention. We're on the front end. We're trying to keep people out of the system, and not necessarily focus on treatment.
And crisis.
Okay? So here are 4 things that we have agreed to, that we presented. We presented both here to the Behavioral Health MHSA plan update, as well as to the OAC Commission, because these are the things that are taking place at a state level. So we want to be congruent with what's happening throughout the state, in Sacramento and down, and we want to come from the bottom up from our local community. Number 1, increase linguistic capacity and cultural congruence. Okay, we have all these various populations represented around the table, and Supervisor Zaragoza, you can see Filipino, African American, Native American, LGBTQ. This is the group right here that has done it, pioneering collaborative effort in Ventura County, this group here.
People coming out of incarceration,
Yes.
those people that are suffering from acute, multiple layers of mental health, including dual diagnosis, thank you, Teddy.
Yes.
And alcohol and PST, post-traumatic stress syndrome disorder.
Yes.
So we've got all the screwed up
Yes,
people there. This
yes.
coalition, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
and so what we're proposing is 4 things. Secondly, we want to build community capacity. Part of the issues raised within the LULAC report is the lack of community capacity and the lack of representation of racial and ethnic populations on all levels. And we think we can be an asset to help transform, the system and make it a much better, congruent, culturally competent system for our populations. And so what we'd like to do is to have the system not just focus on treatment, but many of the issues that we face is number 3 is what we call the social determinants of health. And let's face it, we're dealing with racism, racial profiling, the trauma associated with that, police violence. And we have a video that we did statewide that focused on African American males, but we know it's not just African American males. We know that black and brown populations have undue stress and duress from violence and a lot of police issues. And other people can say something later about that. Poverty, high unemployment, housing, the school to prison pipe. These are the issues that we're trying to focus on. And then the last thing, number 4, we know that the data collection methods are not appropriate. Because when people at the mental health community talk about penetration rates, and they say, well, based on the population, there's so many percentage of blacks, so many percentage of Asians, so many percentage of this and that. What we have found out at the state level is that's insufficient, because you have to really disaggregate it and go beyond to say what's culturally appropriate for those populations. Not just say that because we have 2% blacks and we're doing 2% of revolving doors at the clinic that we're serving the people. No, you're not. Are the services congruent to the people? Are the people satisfied with those services? Are we doing any prevention, and are we doing any practices that the community has articulated, like the keys, leadership?
Just not serving the 2% is, what are we doing about it?
Exactly.
Okay.
So what we'd like to do in summary is, we'd like to propose to the county to fund some population-specific needs assessments done by the coalition group.